If I were to show you a video of Bleach Advance, you might come to assume that it was perhaps the first Bleach video game or even just the first Bleach handheld game, but you'd actually be wrong twice. In fact, Bleach Advance was actually sandwiched between the first two Bleach Heat the Soul games on the PlayStation Portable, two insanely good looking 3D handheld fighters that would mark Bleach's first video game appearance ever. You see, Bleach Advance was a late Game Boy Advance title, released just in the early years of the PlayStation Portable and Nintendo DS's lifecycle. And it just so happened that Bleach had established an early partnership with Sony, aiming to speed up a game release to coincide with the launch of their new console, putting the new Game Boy Advance game in an awkward spot, releasing the summer of that same year. But releasing on the Game Boy Advance is not what makes this game awkward. There were plenty of good Game Boy Advance games that were released late into the Game Boy Advance's life. Rather, the game from a presentation standpoint was making a lot of very interesting decisions. Bleach Advance is what you'd call a command battle RPG. Characters are actually moving in 3D space. Their position is indicated by the map at the bottom of the screen, and this is important because you can only activate attacks in certain positions. While daunting, the gameplay itself is actually not that complicated. I have to tame the instinct to call imported games confusing, given I'm not able to actually read the game manual or instructions. Your character has a loadout of 4 attacks that can be customized before each battle. Each attack has different stats, including its strength and ability costs. Certain attacks can only be activated in certain positions though. For instance, some can only be used when you're close to your opponent or far away. And depending on who launches your attack first, you'll either be in attack mode or defense mode. Attack mode gives you this little mini game where you have to time your attack just right to do max damage, whereas defense mode forces you to select one of the attacks in your loadout, and depending on what you select, this can mitigate damage or even launch a counterattack. Now, this game is not turn-based, but it probably should have been. In fact, your opponent is basically always moving like they're on crack. I'm sure the game is meant to be played where you're maneuvering to strategic positions to better set up your next attack, but in practice, you'll only have a split second to react when your enemy is in front of you, otherwise you're going to get lit up with an attack. So it feels like you're just running around randomly most of the time. Had they turned this into a tactical strategy game where each character has turns, I think the gameplay would have fared much better. Oh, and I usually don't feature any sound in my videos, but to understand how awkward this game is, you're going to have to listen to the audio. The sound of your opponent just shuffling around kind of hits on the head the awkward presentation of this game. Now, I do have to give this game credit. The sprites they use and the battle animations are pretty cool, especially coming off of the lackluster animations from another RPG I played recently, Dragon Ball Z Harukanaru Densetsu. Each attack sequence feels pretty cool and unique. Bleach Advance isn't exactly importer friendly either, given the heavy amount of text, but that's to be expected. It's a full RPG game. There are a lot of words in an RPG. And in fairness to it, the game was providing a unique experience being sandwiched between a bunch of Bleach fighting games. And there's a lot of Bleach fighting games. But I'd imagine playing this game felt a lot like eating a McDonald's sandwich when you knew there were steak dinners available. Anyway, hopefully this video got you curious enough to look into the game. These type of titles tend to fade away over time, which is, I think, a shame. If you want me to talk more on these older obscure titles, please like this video and maybe subscribe for more. Otherwise, thank you for watching and bye.